1010XL 92.5 FM.
Oh, man, what an awesome day it is today. Today's new drug is a fantastic golf tournament and a blast from the past.
That's right.
Have you ever been called a blast from the past before?
I don't know if I have. That
Are you
kind
too
of
young?
makes me feel
Well,
old.
yeah, I used to think you were too young to be a blast from the past, but no.
I'm getting up there.
Yeah.
Once you get over 40, anything's possible.
Like I tell people your age, I'm going to stay here and let y'all catch up. That's my plan. So that's my friend Lauren Brooks. Hayes Carline is caught in a massive traffic jam. And apparently it's not Hayes' fault. Apparently it is. There is a gridlock. They have shut down the whole side of 210 that leads to Southampton out there. So hopefully nothing happened. There must be a bad accident. But Hayes, I know you're listening. Relax. You'll be here when you get here. Don't stress. We've got this. I'm going to ask Lauren to work a segment. Then we'll let her get on about her business. But
I can do as much as you need. We have a lot to get into.
But there is certainly a lot I want to talk about today involving the draft and a whole lot more going on sort of this time of year. So we're glad you're with us. But I want to thank, first of all, we're proud to be at 1010XL. I'm proud of what 1010XL is. I've said that many times. The people in this room at our Guggen Open have a lot to do with what our golf tournament is. You know, that these are our clients, these are our listeners, these are our sponsors. And really from the get-go in April of 2007 when we launched this thing, there's a lot of people in this room and on this patio that without them we wouldn't be what we are today. I mean that very sincerely. We take the Guggen very seriously. We take our client base who are our friends very, and Lauren, I know you know this because like me, you work with a great deal of the clients. So we wear a couple hats. A number of us in the building wear multiple hats, and that is connecting with the clients and connecting with the people in the sales world, as you were, if you will. And you and I have had a chance to meet a lot of them. You know a lot of them here today, but this day is emotional is dramatic. It's not an emotional day, but it's a day of appreciation that of the people that help us and have helped us grow this radio station. It's cool to see them out here today. Didn't you think that when you saw them out here today?
Well, and I know a lot of them look forward to this day all year long. They talk about the Guggen and the stories and things like that. And yeah, everybody does a phenomenal job putting it all together. And we do appreciate every single listener. Every time I meet someone that listens to 1010, I say, thank you for listening. And when I say that, I truly mean it. Without the listeners, and then obviously the clients on top, and usually they start as listeners and then they become clients.
Yeah, well, that's right. A lot of the people that advertise in this radio station are people we knew before. So we're at Southampton. You made a point earlier that I kind of knew, but this is like the last event at Southampton because they're closing down for renovation.
That is correct. They will be redoing all of the greens and some of the bunkers as well, and it will be back open in October. So y'all were the last hurrah for several months. But, I heard one of the owners earlier on with the drill in the next prime time, and basically they put the wrong grass in on the greens once upon a time. I want to say in 1999 is when it was
I didn't
opened.
know that.
And so they need to go in and I guess they've worked really hard to try to get the greens to do what they want them to do, but they finally realized they're just going to have to replace them.
Yeah, and I will tell you this. They had those bad boys running today now. I can tell you. So if you're a golfer, if you're around golf, you know the stimp meter measures how fast a green is. And that's kind of how the golf thing works. And if the Augusta's 14, the greens are 14.
And when you don't have rain for a long time, the faster the greens in general.
And so they keep where I live at about 12.5, 13. And I was very blessed. I got to play Pablo Creek last week.
Oh, wow.
And so I was out to Pablo, and when I got there, I said, I just want to warn you, the greens are running about 13. You're probably not used to that, so I'm used to it because we have them at our place. Well, today, these greens here at Southampton might be as fast as I've ever played on. They were, you said someone told you 15. I don't know if they were 15, but they were 13.5, 14 minimum. They were flying out here, but really, and Joe Coward has certainly worked with Derek and his team out here, and that's a great partnership. So we really do appreciate that. We had a big time out here playing golf and hanging out with a lot of the people that are part of our 1010XL family. So that's good.
It's the 19th annual, which means it's going to be even bigger and better next year for the 20th.
I was playing with my friend Alex Ricker Gilbert from JU, Reed Parman from Big Chief, and Eric Gedemy from Coil Fence, three of my dear friends as well as clients of the radio station. And we were talking about how many there's been. Reed actually played in the very first one.
No way.
And he was telling me that, yeah. And by the way, Reed Parman, my buddy Reed Parman, who owns all the Big Chiefs, he's a runner. He's run numerous marathons. His goal is to one day run the Boston Marathon in memory of his dad, Fritz, who we love so much. Is one of the great runners and one of the great members of the running community around here.
Absolutely.
Reed's a guy, if he decided to play golf, could be about 3 or 4 handicap. He hits it long. He said, "That I'm going to run. I'm going to be a runner." So, but he's a good dude, man.
He's a little busy too. Yeah. Golf is, as you well know,
3 kids.
Golf is a sport,
3
or a hobby, a sport, whatever.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of time. And that's not even practicing.
Yeah.
That's just the round.
3 teenagers, but they were asking how many of these we've had, and I said, well, we've had a radio station almost 20 years. So I guess we've had a Guggen the whole time. I didn't realize we had. So this is the 19th.
19th annual. So, yeah.
I did not realize. So that's right. That's very telling. But we had a wonderful time. So one more time, thank you to the people that made this Guggen possible. Thank you to the people that support this radio station. And we're glad to be out here at Southampton hosting radio show. You and I haven't done this in a while, so I'm glad you're here for a minute, filling in for my guy Hayes.
The last time I did this show with you.
Might have been the last Guggen.
It was a golf. It was the walk-off charities golf.
That's
tournament.
what it was.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we were always doing it around golf.
Okay. How'd we do? Did we do okay? Was it a good show?
We did. I think we actually got
ever?
into an argument about Billy Napier.
We did.
I mean, a respectful, well thought out.
Was I right or was I wrong?
I'm trying to remember the
You were
point.
trying to run him off, and I was trying to keep him?
I think I said something along those lines.
I might have been off on that one.
I think I said if he continues to make the in-game coaching errors that we've seen in the past, he cannot be the coach of the University of Florida.
And I defended him because I'm a defend guy?
Yeah.
There's an outside chance I was wrong there.
Hey, you know what?
I don't know if I'm going to – I mean, I'm just saying there's an outside chance.
He proved a lot of people wrong.
All right, so a lot of things while we have you here. We're going to talk a great deal about the draft. What was your take of the draft, top to bottom?
Well, I think everyone focused so much on the tight end being selected at 56, Nate Burkhardt, and the fact that you should have gotten him later, and why would you get a blocking tight end that high? And then I think people kind of stopped paying attention to the rest of the draft, and that, in my opinion, is not how it should be. It's not just about that one selection. It's about all the different selections that they made. But in the end, I tend to be like you, and I tend to be optimistic about the Jaguars as a whole. And so even on the years where they're not very good, I'm famously quoted for saying, oh, they're going to make the playoffs, and they're terrible sometimes. So I tend to look at it like you do with the glass of half full. But if Nate Burkhardt comes in here, and if he and Britton Strange can be two of the better tight ends, and I know that's a reach because of the fact that he's not caught a ton of passes, but they wanted to improve the run game. That's what he was brought here to, or will be brought here to do. And then, of course, adding a defensive tackle, another tight end later, some wide receivers, an edge, a linebacker. These are guys that they wanted on their team. So for the here and now, I'm going to trust that they're going to be productive contributors, and we know that they love football and they're intangibly rich.
So you talked about sort of the key areas. I got a bunch of thoughts. Let me start with this. For people that follow the draft, and I've always gotten a kick out of this. And I, by the way, whether it's Dane Brugler or Mel Kiper or anyone in between, I respect, and I mean this sincerely, respect people that make a living in sports. Look, we get paid to talk about sports on the radio. I'm so blessed that that's been my career and most of my life. You too, all of us to do this. So I'm not faulting anybody that's what they do or what they get to do. I think it's awesome. But we fall so in love with their opinions that they're quite often, like me, guys who didn't play or coach at a high level. They're just a guy that has studied the game for a long time. That's kind of what they are, right? So they all have these draft boards. Well, then somebody once upon a time got together and said, let's combine them all and have a consensus board. Is there one consensus board, or is there two or three? I
think there's multiple.
Okay, so let's have some consensus boards. And the consensus board will number you 1 through 250 or whatever the number is, okay? So then fans, and I'm not faulting fans, media, all of us, people tend to believe that's the scoreboard.
Yep.
And the scoreboard is this consensus board. So if the consensus board says a guy should be 98 and you draft him at 52, bad draft pick.
Correct.
And if the consensus board says he should be 100, he should be 50 and you draft him at 100, good draft pick. You got good value.
Right.
And I get a kick out of that because so we're trusting, and again, I don't mean this disrespectfully, but we're trusting Dane Brugler and Mel Kiper. Are we trusting them over Tony Baselli? Tony Baselli's in the Hall of Fame, the Pro Football Hall of Fame. For the record, he's in the College Football Hall of Fame. You see my point? These coaches, not just the Jaguar people, they've spent their whole lives and their careers evaluating this and evaluating these players and looking over these players. And they might, by the way, I have no idea how good these guys are going to be. But I'm not going to decide they're great or bad because of where draft analysts had them. Does that make sense?
It does.
And I've always been there, and I've always felt that way.
There are certain people that evaluate it that I think do a really good job as far as how they're going to translate into the NFL. Pete Prisco, who you have on the show every Friday, he's one of those people that I trust the way he watches film, even if he wasn't a star football player.
Right.
Bucky Brooks, who you also have on during the season, Bucky Brooks did play the game, and so how do you look at his analysis and things like that? Like there are people that I trust and I believe, and I think Brugler does a good job.
I think Brugler does. I think Kuiper does a great job. I think Brugler does a great job. I think Pete does a fantastic job. I think Bucky. I respect the work all these guys do. I think they're all very good, and I love the work they do. But if one of this says the Bucs drafted a lousy player, or that's a bad, I'm not going to believe that over the person. That's just my opinion.
Sure.
And we all have our own opinion.
Yeah.
But that's where I am. So the reason I bring it up is I've seen people just pan the Jags draft over and over.
Well, they're ranked low in everyone's rankings.
And I'm like,
and given bad grades.
This regime just hung 13 wins.
Right.
This group together is they're 13. I know I sound like a homer. I don't care. I'm always a homer. But they were 13-4. This team was 13-4, and they inherited a team that was 4-13.
Yeah.
So anyway,
they finished 13-5, and I think what people are focusing on is when the Jaguars lost to the Bills, we can point to key areas. Defensively, they didn't get Josh Allen on the ground enough, and their secondary had lapses.
Right.
So did the Jaguars address those areas competently enough? People really wanted a star edge rusher being picked at 56 or a linebacker to replace Devin Lloyd. That's where their mind went. And then how do you replace the production of your running back, your star running back from last season?
Yeah. No,
they didn't draft a running back at all. And so it's partially the analysts, the national analysts and their draft stuff, but it's also partially what people expected the Jaguars to do. And when they don't do it, then they get upset.
I don't sense it's as much the positions. They got most of them. They didn't draft, you're right. They didn't draft a running back. It's just to your point where they draft them. So for me, where I am.
Yeah.
They were 13-4 in the regular season. You're right. They lost the playoff game, but they were 13-4 in the regular season, and it's a team that I think they've got a pretty good team now. And when I look at the draft pick, by the way, and I only evaluate guys that I've seen play.
Okay.
And I haven't seen many of these guys play. The two tight, it's clear what they did with tight ends.
Mm-hmm.
It's what they did with tight end is everybody's gone to the two tight ends. So.
Or three.
Or three tight. The Rams have the three tight ends, and it really helped their offense. Buffalo, their two best receivers are tight ends. As good as Kelsey was, Gray was just as good with Kansas City. If you go around the league, as good as Mark Andrews was for the Ravens all those years, they brought in Isaiah Likely and Josh Oliver. So
the Seahawks have A.J. Barner, and they went and got Elijah Arroyo.
Yeah. So teams have a lot of tight ends. So whether they got the right to or not, who knows? But they went and got tight ends. That's number one.
Koziol, by the way, Tanner Koziol was a Senior Bowl standout.
Yeah.
We know that they like Senior Bowl guys.
Yeah, so we'll see. They went and got a defensive tackle. He seems a little small for me. I'm not.
He played at 320 though.
Yeah, but he's about 6'1". I hope he's is he Ed Oliver? Is he that kind of player? We'll see. So, but I'll tell you one thing they did do. For better or worse, I can tell you this, and I hope this matters. I think it does. I know they think it does. They did, as much as we joke and kid, and he even makes fun of himself a little bit for the intangibly rich phrase, they did get guys that culture, fit, mindset, work ethic, grinding, and physical. They did get those guys.
Yeah.
Now we'll see how good the players are. So we'll see kind of where they land and how they land and the whole bit. But for me, I can tell you, I have no idea if it's a good draft class. I don't know. I don't know these guys. What I do know is Gladstone and Baselli and Liam are pretty good. That's what I know. So we'll see what.
Or at least we know Baselli is. I think the jury's still out on what Gladstone is doing in these drafts because the first 3 draft picks last year were injured. So it's a little more difficult to evaluate.
He's responsible for the free agents too. Well,
he's sure.
He's responsible for that roster, and that's a pretty dang good roster. So
I agree.
Yeah.
I'm just saying from the playing devil's advocate, he hasn't been perfect in his role to this point in time.
Yeah. So we'll see. But
De'Ami Brown didn't work out. Greg Newsome didn't work out. There have been some misses, but like I said, I'm optimistic.
Yeah.
But I would say Liam Cohen right now, there are fewer flaws, so to speak, on his resume than Gladstone to this point.
Yeah. To me, I lump 13 and 4 together. I lump them all together, and they're 13. So we'll see. But anyway, that's and the reason I bring it all up is I'm reading all these. How can they do that? How can they do it? It's a terrible draft. What I'm thinking, and I'm thinking they've been here a year and they won 13 games. So now you have 3 or 4 wins. I mean, one of the reasons Trent Baalke got beat up so much is most of the time he was here, the team wasn't very good.
Yeah, they had back-to-back number 1 overall picks. That means you're terrible.
Yeah. I mean, but Trent Baalke didn't get beat up because people looked at his draft and said a lousy draft. Trent Baalke got beat up because his teams were always not very. His rosters weren't good.
Which is partially from the draft.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's responsible for the whole roster.
Yeah.
Whether it's the draft, free agency, whatever. And you see my point? I mean, if you wanted to beat up, I'm never a guy that beats up anybody. I'm the play-by-play voice of the team, so I'm not going to beat him up anyway. But if you wanted to beat up Trent Baalke down the stretch, okay. Whether you blame Doug Peterson or Trent or whoever you want to blame.
There's a lot of blame to go around.
The team wasn't very good.
Yeah.
So this is so anyway.
But I think, Frank, though, fans don't want to look at 13 wins and say that's super successful. It was fantastic, but it's not where you want to go eventually. That's what Liam Cohen would say, right? And you don't want anyone to be complacent because of how good last year was.
Yeah, but does anyone think anyone's been complacent?
Fans would point out that they didn't do a lot in free agency. They just really added Chris Rodriguez. Then they did make the trade for Rook Ororo. I'm pointing it out from the perspective of the fans. That's not how I feel, but the fans that say it was a quiet offseason, you didn't have a first-round pick, and then you take a tight end that you probably could have gotten in the 3rd round or later with the 56th pick. That's where they're coming from.
I guess so those fans would think, okay, no matter how good your team is, you better change a bunch of guys.
They would say,
change a bunch of
how are you better than a year ago when you lost at home in the wild card? How is this roster better than that roster?
Yeah,
how do you win the Super Bowl? That's what fans always think.
Yeah, you're right, but I mean, I don't know that changing a lot of guys. So anyway, you and I see it very differently. For me,
that's not how I'm seeing it.
Yeah.
I'm saying that's how the fans that are negative. They're saying you lost Travis Etienne
and I don't think fans are
negative.
I didn't sense fans were negative in free agency. I sensed fans were negative about the draft, and I'm not really talking about Jaguar fans. A little bit about that, but just all these media grades. The one guy, Nate somebody or another wrote, is the bloom off?
Yeah.
Is the bloom off?
Nate Davis from USA Today Sports.
Is the bloom off?
Is the bloom off the rose?
They're 13. They've had 1 year and they won 13. The only scoreboard that matters is the one in the fall. I mean, is the bloom off the rose? They're 13-4. I mean, the 1 year they've had. They have had 1 year together, and they won 13. I mean, it was comical to me. Is the bloom on now?
People don't like how James Gladstone comes across. We like it because he's our general manager, but he speaks in a way that people just don't. Like I said, I love James Gladstone. I love Liam Cohen. I love Tony Baselli. I love what they did. I think they can build off.
And I have no idea how good the draft will be, but I do know that is the bloom off the rose. When you've won 13 games in your only season, that's a fickle rose, man. That's a fickle rose. Anyway, thank you for sticking around.
Absolutely.
I don't know. Hey, I may keep you one more. Did you go to Gainesville?
I did go to Gainesville yesterday.
You didn't deliver a win.
I did not bring back a win. No, the family and I sweated a lot and only got one run.
All right, stick around one more segment.
Sure.
Then we'll let you go home. Hayes Carline is on his way. He'll be here shortly. We are live at Southampton. Do want to thank the folks at Southampton, and also my friends at the Best Bet. The Best Bet does such a fantastic job. No matter where you are, you can have fun at the Best Bet. 3 great locations. That's the St. Augustine location. You know that one right off of I-95. Orange Park location is off US 17, and of course the Jacksonville location is Monument Road. Lauren Brooks is going to stick around one more segment. This is 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show from the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
This is Daniel Murphy on my hometown station here in Jacksonville, 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Flowers and cards are great for Mother's Day. But why not make this Mother's Day extra special with something timeless from Beard's Diamonds? The team at Beard's has put together an amazing collection of affordable and distinctive gifts up to 40% off. Beautiful bracelets with diamonds and colored gemstones, stunning pendants, and gorgeous earrings featuring both natural and lab-grown diamonds. Think about it. It's the gift she'll be able to enjoy for years, even decades. Always a reminder of that special Mother's Day in 2026. Rings, bands, pearls, fashion pieces, all the latest from the world's top designers. Beard's makes it easy to show the mother in your life how much she means to you. and to the whole family. And with up to 40% savings, you'll be amazed at what you can do with your budget. Get the card and the flowers, but top it off with a spectacular piece of jewelry from Beards. Beards Diamonds, not another chain store owned by Wall Street. Your local jeweler. Family owned and operated for nearly 45 years. Beards Diamonds in the St. John's Town Center.
After attending a Saturday Bumps and Bruises clinic by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, my son's hip and shoulder issues were diagnosed quickly, and he's back playing. As a busy family, we really appreciate their prompt attention.
I've been having knee problems for probably 6 months, and I had heard about Southeast Orthopedics on the radio, and I gave them a call. They got me right in. Dr. Kevin Murphy did it. It was painless, and it's been doing fantastic.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Get out of the city and into the woods and the water.
Keep on working it.
On the Nimnicht Outdoors Show, Captain Kevin and Captain Kirk join Jeff Lageman.
I am shooting one today.
Get hooked Saturday morning from 7 to 10 on 1010XL.
Attention business owners and sales professionals. Still hearing, I need to think about it? Pat McManaman from Sandler Sales. We can help. There's a 2-day sales boot camp in Jacksonville, May 13th and 14th. We'll show you how to handle objections and close more deals without being pushy. Call us at 904-646-1900 for more details. 646-1900. Let's get your business and top-line revenue growing.
Don't miss Renewal by Anderson's 1-month-only sale event. Buy one replacement window or door and get the second 40% off. Plus, enjoy 0 down, no payments, and 0 interest for 12 months. It's the perfect time to upgrade with windows engineered for strength, beauty, and energy-efficient performance. Designed for Florida's unique climate, our acclaimed impact windows help keep your home cooler, quieter, and more comfortable. Offer ends April 30th. Restrictions apply. Schedule your free consultation at bestwindowsflorida.com. License CGC 1527613.
Everybody, Mike Dempsey here, and the cooler weather is upon us. Folks, it's the perfect time to try the new breakfast sandwich from Dandy Foods. A hearty one, too. A twin-pack cinnamon swirl and country sausage. You get the sweet first, then the salty kicks in, and trust me, they are addicting. And you'll find them all at daily stores around town. So the next time you're out and about, stop and get all that deliciousness in less than a minute from Dandy. Just one more reason to go out and make yours a dandy, and do it today.
Ackerman Cancer Center is the community leader in cancer treatment, offering advanced proton therapy treatment for cancers near vital organs or complex, hard-to-reach areas. Take charge of your well-being with AckermanCancerCenter.com.
Out here, we hear your speed before we see you. Wind that rocks us.
Cars drifting toward us.
This isn't just a road, it's our workplace. Slow down.
Keep your distance.
Stay focused. Your choices matter.
Let's get everyone home safely.
Learn more about the Florida Department of Transportation's Target Zero initiative at WorkZoneSafetyFL.com.
Hicken here. Beat the spring cleaning rush and call Zero Res. This month, get 20% off hard floor cleaning and get 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at just $135. Visit ZeroResJacksonville.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah.
Oh, life is bigger. It's bigger than you are not me. The links that I will go to, the distance in your eyes. Oh no, I've said too much.
Have you or someone you care about been arrested or had their driver's license taken away? I'm Susan Cohen, and I work with David Robbins at the law firm of Epstein & Robbins. We are experienced fighters for those charged with DUI and all criminal offenses. I've been named the best DUI attorney in the state, and David has been named the best criminal defense lawyer in Jacksonville. In your battle with the justice system, there is only one thing you need to know. Dial David 24/7 at Epstein & Robbins, 354-5645.
Hey folks, it's Frank Frangie. When you buy tires, you should get more than just tires. You should get value that lasts. Well, at Big Chief Tire, every tire purchase comes with their Extra Mile program. That means $10 off every oil change, free tire rotations, free tire repairs, and more every time you visit. No points, no gimmicks, just real savings from a local shop you can trust. Call 904-932-0950 or visit WeKeepJacksRollin.com. That's how you take care of your car the right way.
Attention skilled electricians. Are you undervalued at your current company? Time to step up to the bigger projects and better opportunities. Join the team at Miller Electric Company, a trusted name in the industry for over 96 years. At Miller, we tackle the biggest projects in the city, offering not just the job, but an experienced, top-notch pay, unbeatable benefits, and the best working environments in the business. Please join the team that values your skills and rewards your hard work. Elevate your career to new heights. Apply today at millercareers.com, an equal opportunity employer.
It's a Best Bet Monday on The Frangie Show with fantastic locations in Jacksonville, Orange Park, and St. Augustine. It's Best Bet.
All right, it's high-stake thoroughbred action Saturday, May 2nd. That's coming up, where you can watch and wager on the Kentucky Derby, and that's at all those Best Bet locations. That means Best Bet St. Augustine, just off of 95, Best Bet Jacksonville on Monument Road, and Best Bet Orange Park and US 17. You know you love the Kentucky Derby. No better place to go hang out and watch it and bet than at the Best Bet. Frank Frangie here. Hayes Carlin Pork. Hey, Hayes, I know you're listening. He is in. Apparently, there was quite the car accident outside of the gate here, is what we're being told.
Yeah, I was told that a car ran into a light pole. So that is not good.
And Hayes is in a gridlock of all gridlocks. We're going to track Hayes down by phone in just a bit. But Hayes, don't panic, my brother. We'll get to you sometime. And I know what you're going through is you got to get to work. You're on the air. You're stuck in. There's traffic all around. There's nothing you can do about it. So Hayes.
No, it's so stressful.
Hayes so Hayes, we're good, bro.
We'll end up in those situations.
We'll get to you in a minute by phone. So don't worry about it. And I do want to hear Hayes was there covering the draft, so he'll be with us coming up.
It's a lot of work covering the draft.
Yeah, it was busy all weekend long.
Right.
So
started with 11 selections. Obviously, ended up with 10. No pick on Thursday night, but you still have to be there because there's a press conference following the first round.
All right. Now that I gave you my long disclaimer about draft analysts, what did you like best about the draft? Who's your favorite draft pick? Because I got a bunch of thoughts about all 10 guys.
Sure. Well, I think value-wise, since you love the consensus board, the value is going to tell you that Emmanuel Pregnon, where
that's the only one they liked.
That 88,
the only one they liked.
They liked is correct. Look, when we talk on our show about this kind of stuff, I always say I'm not a film person. I watch a ton of college football on Saturdays, but I am not looking at prospects. I'm watching the game differently. And so we've seen Nate Burkhardt because he played at Texas A&M for one season against Florida. If you watch his highlights, you'll see him playing well against Florida because pretty much everyone did last year. So I like the idea of what Nate is going to bring to this team. I like that they added a defensive tackle. Like you said, he's only 6'1", but they must see a nastiness in him. I like Pregnon a lot. I do think that when Liam Cohen said the stink is the run game, people thought he was talking about a running back. And then, of course, on Thursday before the draft, you had those rumors of the Jaguars being connected to Jarian Price. And so everyone just assumed, well, the Jaguars aren't in love with Bashal Tutin and Chris Rodriguez and LaQuint Allen and DJ Dallas. They're going to get a running back, and that's what Liam Cohen was referring to. No, I think Liam Cohen was referring to the offensive line. They were not physical enough for him the way he likes the run game to go. And so I liked those guys. We'll see about the safety in Jalen Husky. Because, like Caleb Ransaw, he played more corner, a little bit of safety, but more corner in college, and so he's going to now shift to safety. I think that's an interesting one just because you already have a player like him in Caleb Ransaw. But to me, Frank, this was a great draft for the running backs that were already on the team. It was a great draft for Ventrell Miller, who I think right now I would have him penciled in to start opposite Foye Oluokun. And I think Liam Cohen sent us a message that it is a coach-centric organization. That's what they told us originally, but with all those offensive weapons that they got, as far as 2 tight ends and 2 wide receivers, Liam Cohen, to me, had a large part in who this team drafted.
All right, I'm going to go through all these guys, give you my thoughts on all these guys. Burkhardt, you're right. He played at A&M, but I'd be lying if I told you I remembered him because I don't. I don't remember seeing the Texas A&M tight end.
Like I said, if you watch the highlights, you'll see the plays he made against Florida.
That's right.
But again, Florida's defense with the secondary just wasn't very good last year.
But without seeing those highlights, I didn't remember him. So,
yeah.
But I think Berkshire and Koziel, what they tried to do is get tall tight ends. They're trying to get that 3 tight end look that the Rams had, the multiple tight ends that the Ravens had, the multiple tight ends that the Seahawks, to your point, had, the multiple tight ends that the Bills have. They're trying to accomplish that because that's what works. So that was whether they got the right 2 or not, we'll see. But that was the goal. That was
right,
clearly
because
the goal.
when they played against the Rams and the Seahawks, those teams, because they play a lot of 12 and 13 personnel, they did things to the Jaguars defense that the defense couldn't account for.
Yeah, as for Regis, I hope he's big enough. But, yeah, they want a physical guy. He played both. He played both nose and 3 technique, but they want an athletic guy. He's the guy that chases the ball. He's the guy that's got energy. So it's clear what they were going for there. Back to the point about Pregnon, again, the one guy that all the analysts liked. Where
they drafted it.
Yeah,
it's not that they disliked some of the other ones, just where they drafted it.
I think you hit it. They did not run the ball well down the stretch. That's just a reality.
Back half of the season, they were passing first offense.
So could you see? I could see that in time, he's their right guard. Not this year necessarily, but I can see.
Maybe.
I can see in time, center guard is Wyatt Milam, Jonah Monheim, and Emmanuel Pregnon. That's 3 new guys. That's 2 draft picks last year. This year, I think it's going to be Cleveland, Hainsey, McCary. But I think he's going to. My guess is he's going to be the right guard. My guess is he'll battle there. I'm guessing that Milam is going to be pushing Ezra Cleveland, that Monheim will be pushing Hainsey, or backing up and maybe pushing, and that Pregnon will be there to try and push McCary.
So you think Milam is a guard regardless?
I think they drafted him to be a guard. He could play tackle in a pinch. But I think right now Walker Little's their swing tackle, and I think right now that Wyatt Milam, in my opinion, is going to get a chance to beat out Ezra Cleveland.
And Colvin Landon's the obvious left tackle. Hopefully the knee is perfectly fine after
Anton Harrison's
injury.
the right
Anton
tackle,
Harrison is
and
their
Walker
right
Little, at least today, is their swing tackle.
Right.
So I think Pregnon gives them physicality. So that's what I think. But I'm going to go through all these guys. You mentioned Husky. Husky had 11 interceptions in college. That's a lot of interceptions. A little bit like Andre Sisco when he came here. I think
that didn't work out so well. But I know exactly.
But Andre Sisco had some good moments here. I mean, he wasn't a terrible player by any stretch.
I just mean he wasn't. He didn't have as many interceptions in the NFL as what his college career would have indicated.
But Husky found the ball. I think that if you look at some of the things they did, there was productivity mattered here. Josh Cameron wound up being one of the leading receivers in Baylor history. He's an interesting guy. Doesn't run very fast.
Right. Which is why he wasn't drafted.
And he's built kind of like a running back. You see, he's built like a running back. He's got like an inside linebacker, stocky.
So special teams for sure.
And he's physical. He's got those big hands. He's a little bit of Jacoby Myers. He's the kind of Jacoby Myers, but he's very productive. C.J. Williams at Stanford, Wisconsin and Stanford, very productive.
Yeah, you almost have to do that with all of them.
Yeah. Well,
because Berkshire,
and a lot
Nebraska,
of these,
then
and a lot of Pregnon played at 3 schools.
Wyoming, USC.
So a lot of
played
these
with Jonah Monheim.
So a lot of these. So Cameron was productive. C.J. Williams was very productive. Caught a lot of passes. Parker Hughes had 100 tackles. So clearly productivity over traits. Now
Wesley Williams was really good at Duke.
Yeah, he was there for a lot of years.
Yeah.
So productivity. What's the traits don't stand out here. Now it turns out Parker Hughes is really fast, but he's also a 7th rounder.
I think Koziel's 6'6", 3/4.
They caught a bunch of so traits don't jump off the page to me. Productivity, not as much Berkshire, but for the most part,
if you focus on blocking,
that's
super
right.
productive, not the pass catching.
But productivity jumps off the page for me. That's one thing. I can see what they were trying to do. The 2 tight ends, I went over that. Pregnon, I think they're going to try and make a better. If he wins a job, they run the ball better. I think Josh Cameron is the backup to Jacoby Myers. I think he's the same guy. I think they're trying to get the physical run across the middle. Trevor throws that crossing route as well as any pass he throws. So let's get another guy that does that. I think C.J. Williams will play outside. He'll be a guy that backs up the outside receivers.
Yeah, I think Austin Trammell, Tim Jones, I don't know their roles based off of after this draft.
Yeah, correct. And I think, and look, they went and got 2, by the way, Wesley Williams and Zach Durfee are an awful lot like B.J. Green and Danny Strigo. They're backup edges, and that's where your battle is. Wesley Williams and Zach Durfee battle B.J. Green and Danny Strigo, and between the 4 of them, they hope they come up with 1 or 2 backups to obviously Trayvon and Josh Hines. So my point is, you could see what they were doing with all these guys. If you know the team, which we kind of do, and you know where all these guys fit, if you know what I mean. If you have a pretty good idea what the plan is for every guy. So that made sense to me. I do think that whole work hard, veteran experience. I don't think it's an accident that a lot of these guys played at more than one school, because that means they were under various regimes. That means they learned a lot of football.
Yes, I wondered
That's my opinion.
How does this regime feel about the multiple transfer guys? I mean, Pregnon, like we talked about, played at 3 schools.
Right.
But obviously, if you played offensive line at USC at any point in your career and you're drafted by the Jaguars, then that sends an indication that they think you're pretty good. But I wondered how this regime would feel about the multiple transfers because as fans, we don't love that.
Anymore, though, that's what's out there. I mean, 10 years ago, you would have hated a guy that transferred a lot. That many quit on his teammates. Not anymore. Not anymore. That's just the world we're in. So I think I know what they did. The 2 tight ends to get to that scheme. Regis, because they have someone's got to be the 3 technique. They're still Matt Dickerson is the starter against the run, but I think they need a guy with a little energy there in addition to him. Pregnon, they want to make the run game better. I think he's going to be a right guard. Jalen Husky, he finds the ball, and by the way, I think he's a safety, and I think the safety position is going to be the most interesting one. They have Caleb Ransall, who didn't play at all. They have Antonio Johnson, who really came on last year. Rayon Layden was better as the season went along.
Veteran Eric
Murray's a veteran. I mean, so again, when I look at this group and what they have, I can see what they did. If you collaborate, we got to go quick. I'm going to go to break here, but if you combine free agency and the draft, to your point you made a minute ago. The only question I'd have is I was a little surprised they didn't bring in a veteran running back because at least as we sit here today, there's not a running back on their roster that's ever been an NFL starter. Now, that may not matter. Rodriguez played a lot. He was their downhill runner. Bashal Tootin got his turn, a lot of turns last year, and we certainly know LaQuinn Allen is the blocker, the third down back, pass pro guy. But they don't have one to compete, at least for today, that's been a starter in the NFL. And they don't have a weak side linebacker that's been a starter. Now, I can tell you, Ventrell Miller is the most explosive defensive player on their team.
And he's played a lot at the NFL level.
He will blow you up. Can he cover? And can he? And that's a question they're going to ask.
Which we had that question about Devin Lloyd, and they battled it out to the very end of training camp.
And I will say, of all these undrafted guys, we saw Strigo and B.J. Green. We saw Matt Dickerson. Of all these guys, either drafted low or not drafted at all.
Now we have Joey Aguilar.
We do. Of all these undrafted guys, the one they love is Branson Combs. I can tell you definitively. I don't care where you are in that building. I don't care who I bump into. I'm not going to name names, but I bump into a lot of people in that building. And this guy, Branson, he's number 50. If you're wondering who he is, he's a weak side linebacker. Jack Kaiser's a middle linebacker. That's what he's going to play. But they love
and they drafted a middle linebacker.
And correct. But this guy, Branson Combs, is a guy we'll see. We'll see. So I know the point is we'll see if they got it right. We won't know that till they play. Again, to your point, they're not De'Ami Brown. They got it wrong. They're going to get something wrong. So
Greg Newsome.
Greg Newsome was a little different. I think they were trying to dump Tyson Campbell money. I don't think they ever thought they were going to keep Greg Newsome, but De'Ami Brown they did. De'Ami Brown's the guy.
But if you're going to trade Tyson Campbell away, you better get a starting corner in here to play better than what Greg Newsome did.
I think the trading of Tyson Campbell was more about Monteric Brown than it was about Greg Newsome. I can tell you that the plan was if they had kept Tyson Campbell, he was going to start alternating with Monteric Brown. So, I mean, I'm just telling you, that was the plan.
Sure, and I guess I understand part of that, but you could have had both of them on the field at the same time.
You could have
had both Buster and Tyson on the field at the same time.
I don't sense that they loved Tyson Campbell.
Well, clearly not.
Yeah. Well, he was also very expensive. But anyway, but back to the point. I can see what I think they're doing now. We'll see if they got it right or not. Weak side linebacker, running back is where they don't have veterans. Everywhere else, they've got a little bit of a mix. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun minicamp. It's going to be fun. In my mind, it's going to be fun to watch them kind of track all this down. So let's take a break. Let's keep Lauren around one more. I keep telling you can go home, then you can't. But one more segment. I promise you.
I'm chained to this chair,
5 o'clock, I'm letting you out of here. I promise you that.
It's fine. There's traffic out there.
But I want to ask you about the college stuff. I want to ask you about your weekend games. So you and I haven't talked about Gator basketball. I want to see what you think about all that.
Sure.
So one more segment of that, and then we'll get back to the draft when Hayes gets here. This is 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
The Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Live streaming from the XL Digital Studios. Brightened by Harbor Dental Care, Jacksonville's first choice for dental emergencies.
Have you or someone you care about been arrested or had their driver's license taken away? I'm Susan Cohen, and I work with David Robbins at the law firm of Epstein & Robbins. We are experienced fighters for those charged with DUI and all criminal offenses. I've been named the best DUI attorney in the state, and David has been named the best criminal defense lawyer in Jacksonville. In your battle with the justice system, there is only one thing you need to know. Dial David 24/7 at Epstein & Robbins. 888-354-5645.
Frank Frangie here for my friend and insurance agent Craig Dewhurst. Craig has been helping families on the First Coast with their insurance needs for 25 years as your good neighbor and local State Farm agent. Now's a great time to review your insurance policies, whether you need auto, homeowners, or renter's insurance, or insurance for your golf cart, boat, or jet skis. Craig handles all of my family's insurance needs, and even better, he gives back to the community. Call Craig today at 904-940-9740. That's 904-940-9740.
Post-game Monday on 1010XL. Served by Dandy Foods, making quality fresh sandwiches since 1956.
Hey folks, it's Frank Frangie. When you buy tires, you should get more than just tires. You should get value that lasts. Well, at Big Chief Tire, every tire purchase comes with their Extra Mile program. That means $10 off every oil change, free tire rotations, free tire repairs, and more every time you visit. No points, no gimmicks, just real savings from a local shop you can trust. Call 904-932-0950 or visit WeKeepJacksRollin.com. That's how you take care of your car the right way.
Attention skilled electricians. Are you undervalued at your current company? Time to step up to the bigger projects and better opportunities. Join the team at Miller Electric Company, a trusted name in the industry for over 96 years. At Miller, we tackle the biggest projects in the city, offering not just a job, but an experience, top-notch pay, unbeatable benefits, and the best working environments in the business. Please join the team that values your skills and rewards your hard work. Elevate your career to new heights. Apply today at millercareers.com, an equal opportunity employer.
Instant Keys is turning 25. A quarter century of saving the day when your keys mysteriously vanish.
Seriously, it was just in my pocket.
Or when that remote fob decides to quit working.
The dealership is such a hassle.
For 25 years, Instant Keys has been the go-to locksmith service for car keys, house keys, transponders, re-keys, and even high-tech smart locks. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you for honest, professional locksmith service. Use Instant Keys.
When it comes to glass, you don't want average. You want flawless. Duval Glass and Mirror has transformed homes and businesses across Jacksonville for over 35 years. Frameless showers that wow. Mirrors cut exactly to your style. Fogged or broken glass replaced. Decorative tabletops. Windows replaced or repaired to stand up to Florida storms. All backed by a 100% guarantee. Visit DuvalGlass.com for your free quote. There's only one name for glass and mirror around these parts. It's Duval.
Hey, it's Matt Hayes with an opportunity again this year, just in case you haven't taken advantage of it in the past. Take the opportunity to drop 40 pounds by the 4th with a Waco 180. It sounds a little different when you put a real goal to it, doesn't it? To make it easier, a Waco 180 has lost Reclaim by a Waco 180. Reclaim is a simple 10-week plan designed to help you reach your weight and health goals, a beginning and an end and a real finish line. It just makes more sense. I dropped my 40 within 10 weeks, and like I always tell you, it was easy. Reclaim by a Waco 180 arrives at the perfect time for you to reach your 40 by the 4th and then keep it off with free support for life. Any medication, diet, or workout plan will say you'll see the results. But how many will say in 10 weeks you'll be a new version of yourself, thanking the old you for making that call to a Waco 180? 40 by the 4th isn't just a slogan. It's an opportunity to succeed with Reclaim by a Waco 180. Only at awaco180weightloss.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch.
It's a Best Bet Monday on The Frangie Show with fantastic locations in Jacksonville, Orange Park, and St. Augustine. It's Best Bet.
My buddy Hayes Carline just sent me a text of his current view.
Oh, no.
I'll show you. That's his view.
That is what we
Nothing
call
but try.
gridlocked, and that is
Hayes,
less than ideal.
Hang in there, brother. We certainly do appreciate it. And again, we'll be all good. Do want to remind you, by the way, this week, the Best Bet St. Augustine brings you that single-day stack with a $30,000 guarantee. $80 satellites on April 28th, so head to the Best Bet. That's in St. Augustine, just off of I-95. 3 great locations: St. Augustine, Orange Park near on US 17, and of course Jacksonville location here on Monument Road. Lauren Brooks is kind enough to stick around and made her work overtime as Hayes is trying to get to his gridlock.
Oh, this is such hard work talking about the Jaguars, now potentially the Gators.
Yeah, we're going to get back to the Jaguars.
Backbreaking labor over here.
We just went through the Jaguar draft. I gave you an idea of pick by pick what I think they're going to do. Hayes will be here as some point. We'll certainly talk to him about that as well.
I wonder what his consensus board looked like in comparison to the Jaguars.
I will ask him. That comes up in a minute. Quickly, everybody and their brother has the Gator basketball team #1 in the nation going into next year. How do you feel about that? Do you like it?
Not as a fan, because I don't want them to get that much attention, but they're going to regardless now that Tanner Houck is back. But look, at the end of the day, I'm super excited about what Todd Golden is building, and I think he could build a new team every single year and still be really good. I said Tanner Houck, Thomas Houck. I was thinking about Tanner Koziol.
I know what you meant.
But yeah,
I wasn't going to correct you. I knew you knew.
I was like, that's not his name. It's Thomas Houck. Went to Gainesville to Exact Tech Arena this year for the first time in a while. Got to see the Gator basketball team up close and personal, both in Jacksonville and then that day against Alabama with Charles Bediako and the G League dropout chants going throughout the arena. It was unbelievable, and I'm so excited to see them again next year with the addition of the Denzel Aberdeen that we once had on the team, now back with this team. And then look, I trust Todd Golden. Outside of, look, it's funny, Liam Cohen, Todd Golden, they're about the same age. We've had that
same
conversation.
guy in a lot of ways. I mean, really are.
And we saw Todd Golden obviously win the national championship. Liam hasn't won in a Super Bowl, but Todd Golden made some mistakes there in that Iowa game. Liam Cohen, I think, made some mistakes in that Bills game. But yeah, super excited about the Gator basketball team. Who wouldn't be?
I get the sense, and Hayes and I have talked about this, that if football's good, and listen, football's got great energy. John Summerall's made all the right choices. And I've said this on the air, Florida has done a great job of leaning into what they have in him. Have you noticed that? I mean,
oh yeah.
I mean,
they did it the spring game too.
They mic him. Well, that's you were at the spring game. They mic him up. The
poster that I have now is of John Summerall.
He's on every. I mean, if a guy walking down the street just opens the podcast tomorrow, John Summerall will be on it.
Sure,
he's done it. He's done every podcast. When I had him on, I asked him. I said, "It's great that you do. Why do you do all these?" Because I want to connect with Gator Nation. So they've done a great job. So they hadn't coached the game yet. Again, as I said about the Jags draft, the only scoreboard that matters is the one in the fall. Mm-hmm. And so, but I would sense.
But it has to be better than what
you would
we
think,
had.
Right? I would honestly sense that if football's pretty good, this athletic program overall is about as good a shape, maybe not as 06 through 08.
Correct.
But other than that.
But it also may never get back to that point.
Correct. But other than that, I think it's as in good a shape as it's been ever. Other than that stretch.
Yeah, I mean, we could go sport by sport, and I could tell you how gymnastics did. I could tell you that softball's really good.
I don't know any of that, but I believe
women's basketball has to get a new coach because they weren't very good.
And they got a new coach.
They did.
Tammy Rice,
baseball is pretty good, top 25, obviously, now after losing the series to Texas A&M over the weekend. But people don't care, other than men's basketball, people don't care about sports other than football, usually.
Yeah.
So that's the one that really matters. It's just like the Jags pick. They only were focused on pick number 56, not the entire draft.
That's exactly right. So my buddy Don said he never wins anything. He told me he never won anything, and he walks away with a putter. See there?
Yeah.
So now you've won something. So
that's awesome.
We are here wrapping up.
I saw a lot of people taking home a lot of prizes. So Jack and his crew do a great job.
Yeah, they were wrapping up the Guggen. So, but again, I think.
And you didn't win?
I didn't win. So I shot 77. Now again, it's a shamble.
Right.
So it's you have the best drive of your group. So I shot 77. I don't hit it very far with somebody else's drive much of the time, but I shot 77 with 4 birdies, and it didn't even move the needle up there. I mean, there's Prosper shot 73. I see he shot. I mean, it didn't even move. I mean, 77 should move the needle, shouldn't it? I mean, I wish that.
Not around these parts.
No, I guess they don't. So, but anyway, I think the Gator basketball program and athletic program is a good shape. We'll take a break. One more quick segment with you, then I really am going to let you leave. We'll track down Hayes by phone if we have to. This is 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
The Frangie Show from the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
1010XL puts the ball in play-by-play.
Kick on the way!
Impeccable today.
From way downtown, that ball's ripped.
For play-by-play, it's 1010XL.
Hey, Hickett here, and oh man, TopDressing.com came and hit my lawn with that deep aeration and overseeding. I got to see their truck. Ooh, is that cool? It's like a transformer. Aerators rolling right off it. They punched the yard. They dropped their proprietary mix and cleaned up like they were never there. Next step, rich, green St. Augustine grass. If your lawn needs a real turnaround, call TopDressing.com today for your free estimate. They'll make your grass look like a golf course for real. Call today and top dress your lawn like the pros with topdressing.com.
Frank Frangie here for Bono's Pit Barbecue. Bono's has been serving Jacksonville's best barbecue for over 75 years. And now, catch this. Bono's new limited time offer features an Atlantic fried cod platter with 2 pieces of mouth-watering fried cod and 1 southern side for $15.49, or a fried cod sandwich with 1 southern side for $12.99. You can't beat that deal. And after 1 bite, you'll be hooked. So you better hurry in. The fried cod platter right now at Bono's. And remember, if you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
If you can't wait for kickoff, tip-off, or the first pitch, get your Gator fix anytime with a Gator podcast channel. Exclusive Florida Gator content from 1010XL. Set up by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists on the video and social channels of 1010XL.
Did you know that an annual coating inspection can extend the life of your building by years? Catching early signs like hairline cracks, fading, and moisture intrusion helps prevent costly repairs down the road and keeps your property looking its best. Our team at Performance Painting helps you stay ahead of maintenance with professional inspections and long-lasting coating solutions. Protect your building, protect your budget. Go to performance-painting.com to schedule a free inspection. Performance Painting, repair, protect, preserve.
Performance Painting.
Want your son or daughter to enjoy sports year-round? Then log on to i9sports.com with summer and fall registration open right now, including girls volleyball at UNF and Bishop Snyder this summer, plus plenty of other sports on the First Coast. i9sports.com, enter 1010 in the promo code for a discount.
The Jacksonville Waves tip-off opening night, May 15th at 7 p.m. in the brand new Upshot League at 5-Star Veterans Memorial Arena. Experience the excitement of women's professional basketball and be a part of history. Get your tickets now at wavesupshot.com.
In this age of globalization, we've learned that bigger isn't always better. Ever tried to get phone help from a big corporation? From a real person? Good luck. That is what's so nice about Mike Merritt's Heating and Air. Unlike publicly traded conglomerates with headquarters in faraway cities, Mike Merritt's Heating and Air remains family-owned and operated by Mike, your neighbor. Mike Merritt has delivered hometown service, integrity, and pricing for generations. The big guys incentivize their techs to sell you new equipment. Mike's team emphasizes repair first. We only sell you equipment if your current equipment is worn out and beyond repair. And let's be honest about price. Small operations without much overhead can sometimes lowball your job, but you can't trust just anyone with a truck. They may be here today and gone tomorrow. Mike Merritt has been keeping North Florida cool for more than 3 decades. That's experience and dedication you can count on. Call today or see us on the web.
Florida license number CAC 050384.
Hey, it's Brent with Arcosa Crushed Concrete. If you've got concrete or asphalt rubble on your site, let me buy it from you, and I will recycle it into construction material for your future projects. Arcosa Crushed Concrete. Get paid for what you don't need.
1010XL, presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch.
It's a Best Bet Monday on The Frangie Show with fantastic locations in Jacksonville, Orange Park, and St. Augustine. It's Best Bet.
And all 3 of those locations, Best Bet Jacksonville, Orange Park, and St. Augustine, bring you daily high-hand promotions and tournaments. To find out what tournaments are available, you can always go to bestbetjacks.com. Frank Frangie here with Lauren Brooks. We'll check in by phone with Hayes Carline after the 5 o'clock hour. He is stuck in traffic, and he's happy about it. You can tell.
Oh, poor guy. We've all been there in gridlock traffic. By the way, did you see since we talked about Gator basketball, did you see some of the highlights of Arturas Budavegas?
I didn't know.
Arturas Budavegas, yes.
I have no idea who that is.
He's a transfer to, or not, I don't think, actually, I think he might be international.
Okay.
But he's going to be, as Chris Harry says, if Ruben comes back, he will be the 4th big. Think Micah-like minutes.
So they've added a guy. I did not know they had added a guy. So you're one step ahead of me on that, but I will track that down. I thought they might get Momcilovic, the shooter from Iowa State.
That would have been great.
Because he can really shoot it. So I thought they may get him. So we'll see.
I think the NCAA would have stepped in and said, Todd, this team is too good.
That's too many.
Yeah, you can't have this. Yeah, I'll look up Arturas in a second and tell you about him.
A few more minutes. So tell me what's going on. Who's good in country music? When you're on the show, you always talk about country music. Is anybody good anymore? I like the old ones. You know me. I like Zach Brown.
Sure.
And then way back with Toby Keith and Garth. But is there anybody new?
So you actually love one of the people who I would say this person is right now top 3 as far as popularity in country music.
Who's that?
Her name is Ella Langley.
I love Ella Langley, but I only know one song.
Okay, well,
but it's a great
you
song.
should certainly learn more songs by Ella.
Is she like a star now?
She is a bona fide star.
Because Riley Green is a big star, right?
Right. So I would say it's probably like Morgan Wallen won as far as popularity is concerned. And it was like Lainey Wilson there for a little while. And I would say Ella has passed Lainey Wilson at this point in time. Her music video, Ella's, of Choosing Texas, that's in one of her newer songs. You'd like it. But she has like 20 million views, and it's only been out for a couple weeks of this one video. So, but still, like the heavyweights, like a Chris Stapleton, are super popular.
And I know you and a lot of people on my walk-off staff went to see Eric Church.
Yes.
So
excited.
Does he have any other songs other than Springsteen? Or is that just his only song?
He does.
He has other songs?
Lots of other songs because he's been in this business for about 20 years. So, yes. But I heard Hicken talking about it. He went and he said he only knew like 3 songs.
Yeah.
I obviously know quite a lot more than that, but either way. So
Hicken would know Springsteen.
Yeah.
He would know that.
Yeah. I think I don't remember how many other or what other ones he knew.
I wouldn't
but
know
like
any.
there's Drink in My Hand, Talladega.
Maybe one of those things, if I heard it, I might know it. So.
Yeah, probably. By the way, Arturas Butavegas is a Lithuanian basketball player. He is 6'10". He most recently played in the Spanish league.
Okay.
So another international.
And I'll say this, Todd Golden said when he got the job, I think he said to us one time we were there for the spring game that he is going to lean into the international signings. Now, listen, there's more international players than there's ever been because now you can play professionally over there and then come play collegiately in America. So that rule has changed everything
exactly like an Urban Klavjar.
Correct. But even before that, he said, listen, he said that's in many places, certainly in the SEC for many years, it was an untapped resource.
Right.
So
absolutely. But yeah, he obviously has found
Yeah.
players that way, and he has an eye for talent and
Yeah.
who's going to fit his system. Some breaking news when it comes to college football from Pete Thamel. Texas Tech transfer quarterback Brendan Sorsby is checking into a residential treatment program for a gambling addiction.
Yeah.
I don't think we've ever seen anything like this.
Well, and again, I think he was about to really get hit for gambling, and I think this is a punchback.
Sure, trying to be proactive before.
And maybe to stay out of jail. You know, this might be if I enter a rehab.
Yikes.
Yeah, and who knows if he's even going to be able to play football. By the way, story in college football developing. So we have a 12-team playoff.
Right.
Everybody was in favor. Every conference was in favor of a 16-team playoff, except for the Big Ten. The Big Ten wouldn't do it. The Big Ten said, we're going to stay. We want to go to 24 or we're going to stay at 12. And they wouldn't budge. The SEC and Big Ten have been given the right to decide that by all these other college conferences. So it's up to the two of them. Well, they couldn't agree. The SEC and everybody else was agreed to the 16 teams. So we stayed at 12.
Right.
Well, I'll give the Big Ten credit. I don't know if you follow the story or not. They now have gotten traction on the 24 team,
correct,
where it now looks like the SEC are the only ones pushing back on the 24. What do you think? What do you want to see?
I don't really understand why Greg Sankey doesn't want it to go from 12 to 24 because as we follow college football, the SEC is going to have, same with the Big Ten, they're going to have the most teams in the college football playoff. And as we've learned, every time the playoff expands, it's more money for the conferences. So I'm a little surprised. I don't know if Greg Sankey's just pushing back on 24 because the Big Ten wasn't giving in to what he wanted, which was the 16. But at the end of the day, I think 24 teams is too many. I liked 8. I would have been fine with 8 over 12. But once we got to 12, fine.
If you were the commissioner of college football and you could make it whatever, 8 would be your number?
I'd probably have 8. Yeah. What about you?
Probably 16. But I wouldn't want to go bigger than that.
It waters it down a little bit for me.
I agree, but I think we're headed to 24. And the proponents that say
now that lawmakers are getting involved in these types of things.
But I got a hunch. My gut tells me we're going to land at 24. Obviously not for the 26th season, but it would not surprise me if we got there as early as the 27th season. I think I prefer 16. I think with 16 teams, what you want is the smallest number without leaving the champion home. Okay, well, 12 with 8 you could leave the champion home. It's unlikely. With 4 you certainly could. But to your point, it's unlikely. With 12 you weren't. With 16 you now have anybody that could possibly win it. Remember now, Miami almost didn't get in last year, and Miami was as good a team as there was in the country, and they almost didn't get in. So 16 would prevent that from happening. I'm with you, Lauren. I think 24 is way too many, and I think it waters it down. And this is the first time now you really do water down the regular season. See, that's the proponents of smaller numbers. Their argument has always been you water down the regular season. And I've always said it's okay for the regular season to not to be so tragic. With 2 teams, it was tragic. 1 loss and you were done.
Right.
So I was okay with it not being tragic. And I thought 12 and even 16, you still had some juice in your regular season. It just wasn't 24. You may not, because 24, a bunch of 4-loss teams are in now. If it's 24, 8, some 7 and 5s are going to get in. Well, if the 7 and 5 are getting in, then your regular season really doesn't matter.
And what's the point of the conference championships if there's 24 teams?
I think 24 means the end of those games.
Correct.
I think that's what's going to happen.
Which is really sad.
Lauren Brooks from Helmets and Hills worked overtime. Okay, I heard you're getting big pay for this.
Yes.
That's the word on the street.
2 Diet Cokes.
You know what? But they're big Diet Cokes. They're like those big cans.
I do like the slim can, the tall slim can.
Your show sounds great. You
Thanks.
and Tommy and Taylor are doing a fantastic job. Thank you for sticking
Tanner
around.
Houck, he's with us too.
Thank you for sticking around. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Lauren was kind enough to stay for an hour. When we come back, we'll track down Hayes. He's in gridlock. We'll do it by phone. I want to see what Hayes Carline thinks of the Jaguars draft. 10 new Jaguars. I told you what I thought. I'll kind of reiterate that. It'll be about the Jags draft when we return on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Throughout history, significant numbers have made their mark on our minds. That includes sports and radio.
And this one's going to be 1010.
1010 XL.
Hey Jacksonville, this is Dr. Kevin Kaplan, proud partner and orthopedic specialist of Jacksonville. We're honored that the Jacksonville Icemen rely on our team for their sports medicine and orthopedic care. We built this practice with one mission, to raise the bar for orthopedic care right here in our hometown. Faster access, smarter treatment plans, and better results. Whether you're recovering from a sports injury or managing joint pain, we're here to help you get back in the game, stronger and pain-free. Visit osjax.com to learn more. That's osjax.com.
You've probably heard the saying, it's not how hard you get hit, it's whether or not you get back up. Well, I'm attorney Brett Hastings, and I have a saying of my own. If you get hit with a personal injury or wrongful death, hit back and fight to make them pay. At Hastings Injury Law, we have the experience you want if you or a loved one suffer a car or trucking accident or wrongful death. Just call 904-HIT-BACK and we'll help you get up and hit back. Office is Jacksonville.
If you love the Jags, if you crave the NFL, we make a show for you. It's Jaguars Today with experts and insiders. Locked down by Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors. 10 to noon weekdays on 1010XL.
There's no better way to heal that foot and mouth problem than by sending a floral arrangement from Kuhn Flowers. If your foot gets stuck in your mouth, extract it with a floral arrangement from Kuhn Flowers for over 75 years.
The long goodbye begins. A very special evening with Journey. Final Frontier Tour, Saturday, May 16th. ViStar Veterans Memorial Arena. The lights go down one final time. Tickets are on sale now at JourneyMusic.com. Journey. Final Frontier Tour.
Home of the Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Make Capital Glass and Shower Doors your premier choice for top-quality glass solutions. With over 40 years of expertise, their team specializes in commercial and residential projects. From elegant shower doors to modern frameless enclosures, they've got you covered. But that's not all. They also offer glass railing systems, glass wine cabinets, and much more. For unmatched quality and service, choose Capital Glass and Shower Doors. Your vision, their expertise. Visit online at capcoglass.com.
I used to dread going to the dentist. Every visit felt like a sales pitch with constant upselling, surprise fees on my bill, and I could never get in when I needed to. But Harbor Dental Care? Totally different. They saw me the next day, gave me honest pricing up front, and even set me up with a payment plan I could actually afford. No pressure, no surprise charges, just kind people who get it. If you want to experience dentistry the way it should be, book your appointment today at harbordental.care. That's HARBOUR dental.care.
With 50 years of fabrication expertise in towing products, the family at Cannons of Jacksonville can repair or install precisely what you need to tow with confidence. Visit cannonsofjacks.com, where quality and customer satisfaction collide.
Checkmate. I'm Brendan Cecilia, founder of Checkmate Coatings.
And I'm Chester, the Checkmate chessman.
At most companies, people start on the ground floor and work their way up to the corner office. At Checkmate, I started on the ground floor, and almost 20 years in, that's still where I am, making ground floors look awesome, one garage at a time.
Well, I started as a pawn and worked my way up to king.
No, you didn't. Some guy drew you as a king. I asked them to give you a roller, so at least you look like one of the guys.
Yes, I rather would have preferred a sword.
At Checkmate, I work personally with our teams to perfect the preparation and application techniques that make Checkmate floors beautiful and durable.
And I keep things classy with my adorable accent.
Beautiful floors?
Check. Guaranteed to last?
Check. The finishing touch your home deserves? Checkmate.
Transforming your floors, making them great. Checkmate.
Visit checkmatecoatings.com.
This is your Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update. I'm RJ Saunders for 1010XL. The Jacksonville Jaguars have agreed to terms with 18 undrafted free agents the team has announced, including running back Jamari Taylor out of Virginia. Taylor was a big factor in the passing game from the running back position for the ball club, totaling 128 targets over 4 seasons, 54 of which came in 2025. He also ran for 1,062 yards at Virginia last season and ranked first among ACC running backs with 14 rushing touchdowns. Right now, 72 degrees at 5 o'clock. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah. Here's another call on the 1010XL hotline, driven by Key Buick GMC, home of the lifetime powertrain warranty.
All right, he's mired in gridlock on Interstate 95 here in Jacksonville, Florida, here north of St. Augustine. Hayes Carline joins us. What's your mood right about now? Give me a mood. I need a mood check from you, please. What do you got?
My mood is apologetic for one, and it's sobering because this was a devastating accident. I saw like 3 ambulances going away from it like an hour and 15 minutes ago. So this was a disaster, and I hope everybody is okay. Yeah. But yeah, it hit a car hit a electrical tower, and the tower is basically broken. So it's sort of hanging over 210. So they've had to shut down all traffic going that direction. And so yeah, just a really, really unfortunate accident. And hope everybody's okay. I appreciate Lauren filling in so well, and appreciate your understanding. And I am on my way. I may get there for the last 2 minutes of the show, but this is officially the Odyssey. And I will get to Southampton at some point tonight. Everybody may be gone, but I will get to Southampton tonight at some point.
Well, I appreciate that, and I will tell you, I was joking a little bit about your mood, but if this is an accident that involved injuries or beyond, I'm with you. Certainly prayers for anybody involved in it. I didn't realize the significance of it, but if you saw ambulances wheeling away from there, you're probably right, Hayes. So hopefully everybody's okay. And again, we know you're in traffic. We've all been there, bro. I told Lauren during the break, we all know how awful that feels. There's nothing you can do about it. You can't leave. You can't move. It's not like you didn't plan to be here on time. So we're all good. So don't sweat it. We appreciate you checking in by phone. And hey, here's what I can tell you, Hayes. We'll be here till 6. Okay, so stop on by anytime. We'll be here for sure.
I've got 52 minutes.
Yes, you do. Hayes, from 10,000 feet. We'll get into the weeds in it in a bit. But from 10,000 feet now, you were there with the Jags all weekend long. You did a great job covering it. You and the other members of the media, as you guys always do. 10 draft picks at the end of the day. What were your thoughts?
Yeah, I thought it was certainly kind of a rough, I'd say, Friday for the Jaguars if you just went off of selections on paper. where I think what I think James Gladstone, Liam Cohen, and probably Tony Pacelli kind of realized was, hey, when you're at 56 in a bad draft, there really isn't a lot of upside that you can cultivate. And so I think it's sort of a role player's draft. Hopefully they can get away with that. Hopefully they can select some players that can move beyond that. But there's very little upside in this class by design, because, I mean, a lot of these guys are 23. A couple of them will be 25 by the time week one comes around. So it's an older group. They should be able to acclimate, quicker. I think that's the key here for Gladstone. And he mentioned, these guys are closer to the 10,000 hours, that people say is when you perfect your craft at 10,000 hours. These guys are much closer to that. So, I think it was basically like, look, there isn't a whole lot that we can get out of this. So let's go ahead and firm up some of the almost reserve roles. So, it'll obviously we won't know anything until 2 years. I understand the experts, crushing them, based on their boards for the selection. But it almost seemed like it was, let's take advantage of where we think the league is going from a trend standpoint, particularly with the heavy tight end formations that we're starting to see more of. Liam Cohen was walking on air about Bokircher. So, I mean, I think he, certainly, didn't think it was a reach at all. He was very, very giddy about the second round tight end out of Texas A&M. But I just think it's a role player's draft and one in which there isn't a lot of upside here, but hopefully they out of 10 guys, they can get 5 that, can get through the end of their rookie contracts and give them decent play at a low cost.
I got to tell you, and here's how I broke it down. I want to get your thoughts. First of all, the tight end thing was pretty simple to me. Everybody's going multiple tight ends, Hayes. Everybody's doing this. I mean, the Chiefs had Travis Kelce for a while, the best tight end in the league, but they still went out and got Noah Gray, who caught a lot of passes. The Ravens had Mark Andrews, once upon a time one of the best tight ends in the league, but they still leaned into Josh Oliver and Isaiah Likely. The Bills, I think their 2 best pass catchers were Dalton Kincaid and Dawson Knox, who are both tight ends. I could go on and on. The Rams have the 3. You see what I mean? I think clearly the Jags tried to run it with a few journeymen, Johnny Munt, Hunter Long, Quentin Morris, who they've signed. But I think they said, we want to run this 2-3 tight end thing. Let's go get some guys high in the draft or middle of the draft that can help us do so, and to pair them with or to combine them with Brenton Strange. I thought that was pretty odd. I'm going to get to the other spots too. But with regard to Bokircher, I think I'm saying it right, and Koziel, aren't you convinced that's what that was all about?
Without a doubt. And, again, it wasn't just that the Rams, toyed with them with that formation, and so they saw it up close in London. It's also, you saw what happened to the offense when Brenton Strange got hurt. It really did affect it. And, so I think part of it is you love Brenton Strange. You love what he's going to be. He'll be a Jaguar for, another, I would think, 5 years easy. And, but they need more than just that. And, last year they got by with Brenton Strange and some journeymen behind him. And I think they wanted to beef that up. And, and so I'm really excited to see where it goes, because you could see Liam Cohen. I mean, his body language, we've known, Liam now for a year, and, his body language is usually pretty evident to how he's feeling. And you could tell, Friday night, he was ecstatic about the skills that, that Nate can bring to the offense at tight end. So obviously it's still Brenton Strange's show, but I do think they're going to utilize multiple ones on, a lot of occasions. I mean, when you look at the tight end snaps last year, Strange played 591 offensive snaps. Johnny Munt played 389. That's 34% of all offensive snaps. Hunter Long had 258. And Morris had 214. So, this was already an offense that, it was playing 4 tight ends, more than 214 offensive snaps. So some of that was Strange's injury, but I think now as it continues to evolve, that's going to be, how they look at it. So it surprised me that they went tight end that early at 56. But again, I think a lot of it was this was a poor draft overall, just in general, like for talent. I think when you look back 5 years from now, this will be one of the worst drafts that we've seen in a decade. And so it was like, well, we're not going to chase upside in a bad draft. Let's chase older guys that we believe can come in and at least fill a role. So I think it's a role player draft, and, we'll see if it works out. I don't think that, they're going to dazzle anybody 3 years from now, but if they can get, like I said, 4 or 5 guys that are good contributors, then that probably will be reflect pretty well compared to the other 31 clubs in a bad draft.
Yeah. The other part of that too is, and obviously Borkercher is a complete guy that probably does as much blocking as anything else, right? But I'll tell you, beyond that, they got productivity, I think, Hayes. I think the goal was not worry about traits, worry about production. They've always talked about that, right? I mean, Josh Cameron, I'm sorry, caught 69 passes for 872 yards and 9 touchdowns last year. C.J. Williams had 59 catches for 749 and 6 touchdowns. Between the two of those guys now, they caught 130 passes for 1,600 yards and 15 touchdowns last year. That's not an accident. Koziel caught a bunch of passes. I think, to your point you made at the top of this segment, it's older guys. It's guys that have been around a while. But it's also guys that have been productive. It's not how fast you run the dang 3-cone drill. It's how good a football player have you been and how productive a football player you've been. I'm not trying to be cliche here, but don't you sense that's the theme I've seen throughout these 10 picks?
Absolutely, and Jalen Husky really symbolizes that because he was definitely production over traits. I mean, he's, in terms of times, he's fairly glacial. And when you look at the 40 and things like that, but, he had a bunch of career interceptions. So, obviously he's got a nose for the football. You mentioned Cameron's production, 19 touchdown catches over the last 2 years combined. Koziel was, unbelievable, 168 catches last 2 years combined. So, Wesley Williams was, a demon on special teams in terms of 5 career blocks, which is just unheard of. Also had 10 career sacks. So yeah, I think it was basically like, I think early on Cohen and Gladstone and Baselli probably identified, look, you're probably not, there's probably not a lot of guys headed to Canton, Ohio in this draft, particularly when you're not even selecting until 56. And so it was like, let's just make the most of a bad situation, and let's at least get guys that we feel like can play a smaller role at an effective level and can give us some depth when a high-level starter does go down. Now, the challenge that the Jaguars will face moving on from this is in the 27 draft, you've got to get back to taking guys that can be stars for you. Like, I don't get a sense, outside of maybe Pregnon, I don't get a sense that any of these guys really have the path to becoming a star, whether, looking at their resume in college and their path to a bunch of playing time with the Jaguars. So, I think it's try and salvage whatever you can salvage. And I think in this case it was, let's get some guys that we feel like can accomplish being a really good role player for us. And, but it does put some pressure on him in 27 to get back to, adding a couple guys that you feel like at least have the chance of developing into a star at this level.
Yeah, and maybe you're right. Maybe these are guys with high floors and lower ceilings. Maybe that is it. But again, they have been productive, man. I mean, again, you read off the great number, the combined years for Josh Cameron. He had 1,600 yards and 19 touchdowns in the last 2 years. I just told you C.J. Williams' numbers. The 5 blocked kicks by Wesley Williams, nobody has that. So Jalen Husky, you talked about finding the ball. He had 11 interceptions. So maybe you're right. Maybe it's higher floor, lower ceilings. But we'll see. We'll see. I think you start with the lower floor. Again, final thought, and we'll go to break. We'll get to some other stuff, some other teams in a minute, Hayes. But I do believe this, as corny as people think it sounds, as much as it sounds like coach speak or a radio guy being a homer, whether you agree with this or not, it is very clear that intangibly rich thing that we all giggle about, even that James Gladstone, to his credit, even laughs about himself some, is real. Culture, work ethic, how will you fit, how will you grind, how important is it to play physically. Every one of these guys looks like they sat at the front of the class. I think that matters. I think you want that guy. Didn't you read when you saw these guys, and like all of us, we started researching more about them? Didn't you get the impression that that was a gigantic part of all of this?
Yeah, I don't think they're ever going to have any issues with this 10 that they're bringing in. It definitely, they all have really high character marks. They also just know how to find the football for whatever their respective position requires. Like, they just all have a collective nose for the football. Now, again, it's older. It's an older group. That definitely limits their upside. So I think when we reflect back on this draft in 3 years, I do think it's going to be a fairly forgettable 10. I don't think the class in general is going to be, anything that dazzles anybody 2-3 years down the road. I think the hope for the Jaguars is that they at least get something out of this draft. I think there's going to be a lot of clubs, even some clubs that got high marks, that probably are not going to have the return that they're hoping for. So, and again, these guys just won 13 games. They could draft 10 mannequins, and you have to, at least believe in their vision. So, I didn't think it was a particularly strong draft on paper, but I also think that it was going to be hard to have, a class that was going to really resonate and get people excited when you're talking about one of the worst drafts that we've seen in a while, and you don't pick for 55 selections in a terrible draft. It just really limits you in terms of what you can do. So you might as well plug holes and raise the floor of your roster and increase the number of guys that can be good role players for you. I mean, that is important in football. You couldn't get away with doing this every draft because eventually you need stars. But they're in a pretty good position in terms of the young nucleus of stars that they have, some that they have inherited and developed. And, I think in looking at it, it puts pressure on 27, no doubt about it. But I really don't know what they could have done to create any sort of dazzling draft class from the cards that they were having to play.
I guess, I agree with that. I guess here's what I think they drafted. If they got them right, by the way, they might have got it wrong, and they might have drafted the wrong guys, and they don't turn out to be good players. We don't know. The other cliche is you won't know for 2 or 3 years is a very true cliche, and we won't know for 2 or 3 years. But if they do, boy, it sure seems like to me, Hayes, they drafted Jacoby Myers and Parker Washington and Cole Van Lanen and Foye Oluokun and Monteric Brown and Jarian Jones and Jordan Lewis and Eric Murray. None of those guys were highly regarded in the draft, and that's some of the Jaguars' best players. The 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 guys I just read off had an awful lot to do with the Jaguars winning 13 games. Don't get me wrong. So did the first-round draft picks. So did Trevor Lawrence and Josh Hines-Allen and Trayvon and Brian Thomas Jr. They had a lot to do with it, too. I get that. But Van Lanen and Myers and Washington and Elijah Wan and Monteric Brown and Jarian Jones, those guys I think they drafted that again. And by the way, if they hit on all of that, if what they hit on looks like what I just read off, it's a pretty good draft class. It's a pretty good draft class. Stars are not stars, so we'll see what happens. All right, we're going to take a break. How's the traffic situation? Same, better, worse, different? What do you got?
Well, I'm out of the gridlock, but I've had to go around the county to get to the other end of 210 so I can come from the opposite way. So I am making progress.
Okay.
But, the infrastructure out here is such that when you've got to take an alternate route, you're pretty much having to go, a long way out of the way. But we are making progress, and we will see if I get to Southampton before the show is over.
Yeah, I was we pulled you up on the phone. We were tracking you, and it looked like you were going just south of Lauderdale and trying to cut up back through Sebring. That looks like the path we have you on?
That's right.
So take your time. We'll see you when you get here. We'll take a break. There's more in a moment. Frank Frangie here. Hayes Carline by phone as he battles the traffic. This is 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
The Frangie Show from the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
When Jaguars news breaks, you'll hear about it first on 1010XL.
I just came from the locker room, and one of the players told me this.
Home of the Jaguars, 1010XL.
Flowers and cards are great for Mother's Day. But why not make this Mother's Day extra special with something timeless from Beard's Diamonds? The team at Beard's has put together an amazing collection of affordable and distinctive gifts, up to 40% off. Beautiful bracelets with diamonds and colored gemstones, stunning pendants, and gorgeous earrings featuring both natural and lab-grown diamonds. Think about it. It's the gift she'll be able to enjoy for years, even decades. Always a reminder of that special Mother's Day in 2026. Rings, bands, pearls, fashion pieces, all the latest from the world's top designers. Beard's makes it easy to show the mother in your life how much she means to you and to the whole family. And with up to 40% savings, you'll be amazed at what you can do with your budget. Get the card and the flowers, but top it off with a spectacular piece of jewelry from Beard's. Beard's Diamonds, not another chain store owned by Wall Street. Your local jeweler. Family owned and operated for nearly 45 years. Beard's Diamonds in the St. John's Town Center.
My name is Savannah, and I was looking for a way to track my fitness results in a tangible way. I chose DexaFit Jacksonville because I wanted real, measurable results. After one quick DEXA scan, I knew my exact body fat, muscle mass, visceral fat, and even bone density. No guessing, just data. It gave me a clear baseline so I can now set my goals and track my progress with a lot of confidence. If you want real insight into your body, I highly recommend DexaFit Jacksonville. Book your scan today at jacksonville.dexafit.com.
Balancing books and the grind of daily practice is what it takes to be a scholar athlete. Wednesdays on the Frangie Show, kept healthy by
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists
and the Plumbers and Pipefitters Local Union 234
on 1010XL.
I'm Frank Frangie, and I can tell you as Walk-Off Charities has grown, we now manage a large athletic facility with numerous fields, including the Bregan Baseball Complex. To get around, we needed a good, reliable golf cart. I went straight to Dynamic Drives and Design in Jack's Peak. I met with Travis, told him exactly what our needs were. Would you believe before you knew it, the perfect cart was delivered to us at an incredible price? If you need a golf cart, Travis and his team are the go-to. Learn more about them at dynamicdrivesdesign.com.
Hicken here. Experience crystal clear vision with the Eye Associates, formerly Bow9 Associates, Schneider Eye and Wellness Center, and Janet Betchkel, MD, Jacksonville's leader in advanced eye care. From routine eye exams to specialized vision care, their experienced team dedicated to improving and preserving your vision. The same care you've come to trust, now with a new name. To schedule your appointment today, call the Eye Associates, formerly Bow9 Associates, Schneider Eye and Wellness Center, and Janet A. Betchkel, MD, at 296-0098.
Rick Ballou here with a congratulations for John's Auto. They've been in business in Jacksonville for 40 years. That's right, going all the way back to 1985. Right now, they'd like to thank each and every one of you who's ever gotten their vehicle serviced at John's Auto. So, car, truck, or diesel, all makes, all models, whether it's a routine maintenance or a complete engine overhaul, go to John's Auto on Arlington Road, JohnAutomotiveJacks.com.
Not everyone is built for a cubicle. At Local 234, apprentices get paid to learn hands-on skills like plumbing, pipe fitting, HVAC, the stuff Jacksonville runs on. No endless lectures, no massive student debt, just hands-on training, real jobs, and real pay. This is how you level up, by doing work that actually matters. Check them out at UA234.com. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Local 234. Make the right connection.
Attention poker players. The tables are heating up at all Best Bet locations. Don't miss a minute of the action with $800 high hands every Friday and Saturday, $555 Cinco de Mayo high hands every 20 minutes, and the Memorial Day $30,000 cash giveaway. And don't forget to earn those entries to win a side-by-side all-terrain vehicle starting May 1st in Best Bet St. Augustine. Get to your location of choice, Jacksonville, Orange Park, or St. Augustine, and take home your winnings. For all the details, visit bestbetjacks.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still, present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch. 10-10-10-10.
Take.
The 1010 Take is brought to you by Duck Duck Rooter, plumbing, septic, and air conditioning. When you're stuck, call the duckduckrooter.com. After this draft, I am more convinced than ever that this regime, Tony Baselli, James Gladstone, Liam Cohen, and everybody around them, is more convicted and convinced of what they want and how they want to build this team than I ever have been. Whether they get it right or not, we will see. They certainly got it right in year one, and I got a hunch they're going to get it right. But it is clear there is a path, there is a pattern. You heard Hayes talk about it a moment ago. These guys are all older. These guys are veteran. These guys are going to be good character guys. These guys have been very productive from a number standpoint in college. It's very clear that a lot of the guys, I said this a minute ago, are going to remind you of the Jacoby Myers and the Parker Washingtons and the players that have been, the Cole Van Lannens that maybe weren't as highly regarded by draftniks, but turned out to be very good football players. And I really do get the sense that they've done that again. We'll see whether or not it plays out that way, but that certainly is my read. I'm convinced that this group, this team of team builders, if you will, is more convinced and convicted than ever of what they want this roster to be, and that's the 10-10 take. Hayes, you get my point on that, Hayes. Whether they're getting it right, sometimes I watch teams, watch regimes, I watch college teams when they recruit, I watch pro teams when they draft, you watch people when they put it together. There's not necessarily a theme, right? There's not necessarily a plan. We take this guy, he may be a little bit of an attitude guy. We take this guy that is a soldier, a good soldier. We take this guy that's fast. With this team, it seems very clear that they know in their mind exactly what they want to build this team with.
Without a doubt. I mean, Liam Cohen said it, Friday after, the second and third round. He said, there's no doubt we got tougher today. And that was, I think, certainly when you look at the ground game, stalemating late in the season, things like that, wanting to, try and create a little bit of competition at the defensive tackle position and acquiring Albert Regis. Like this was not going to be a sizzle draft. Last year was a sizzle draft. You brought in the best player in the draft and maybe the best player, certainly the most unique player that we've seen in the draft in many, many years, in Travis Hunter. And this was more meat and potatoes. And it was sort of like that across the board anyway, with all the offensive linemen going on night one and all the edge players. But yeah, I mean, I think the message was, and the goal was to create a tougher team. And they're going to do that with running heavier tight end sets. Obviously Pregnon, with his remarkable weight room ability, probably walks in the door, is the strongest offensive lineman that they have. And so there's a lot to like in terms of that physicality. And, again, I think it'll just be a draft that 2 or 3 years from now, you hope they get some key contributors from. You're probably not going to see a ton of impact this year from this class, but that's not new. We expected that, coming into the draft. There just isn't a lot of pathways here for guys to play immediately. So, and this staff has done a nice job of developing. So I definitely think more physical on both lines of scrimmage and what they can do. And we know that run game and beefing it up was a massive priority for Liam Cohen.
I get the sense that this year, on this year's football team, there's a chance that let me rephrase it. I think most of these guys have a chance to make this team. Now listen, they already had a good roster, and there's 10 of these guys, by the way. Okay, you only have 53 on your team, so they're not all going to make it. Some will be on the practice squad, but I think every one of these guys, there's a reason to believe they could make the team. Okay, obviously the two tight ends my guess is they're going to make it ahead of Johnny Munt and Hunter Long. Okay, Pregnon is going to be a backup guard. You just talked about his physicality. I'm going to skip Husky for a second. Williams and Durfee, I hope I'm saying it right, are going to probably compete with B.J. Green and Danny Strigo so they can have backups there. Parker Hughes, look, he had 100 tackles and he's really fast. I think he competes with Branson Combs and Ventrell Miller. Husky, I'm not as sure about because I think they've got a deep safety room. C.J. Williams and Cameron, could they be the fourth and fifth receiver? I think they could. You see my point? Hey, I think there's a reason, there's logic to how any of these guys could make the team. I guess that's my point.
I think they all make the team. I did a 53 just for fun. And, I mean, I've got Husky making it. I think there's no doubt he makes it. Murray, Antonio Johnson, Husky, Ransaw, and Lane were the 5 safeties. I do think they're going to keep more safeties because it's the same. Gladstone said, one of the reasons that you take a safety is for the same reason you take a tight end in the second round. They want to add a tight end. They're going to go more heavy. Well, they know that's where the league is going to. You need bigger safeties. You need versatile safeties. And Husky provides that. But yeah, I think that the only one that I only kept Josh Cameron. I did not keep C.J. Williams, and it leads to another conversation, which is, now the comp pick formula has expired. So the Jaguars and James Gladstone don't have to worry about protecting their comp picks. They're going to get a comp pick for Devin Lloyd. They're going to get a comp pick for Greg Newsome in all likelihood. They're going to get a comp pick for Travis Etienne. So now that formula has expired. So now you can go out and be active in free agency and go sign some veterans post-draft. It's not going to affect those comp picks that they're going to have in the 27 draft. So I would look at edge, signing a veteran edge. I would look at signing a veteran 4th receiver. And I think you can look at linebacker as a spot where they will go back out and take a peek at the veteran market. So we're now just getting to, and again, this is what happens with good teams, and we're not really used to the Jaguars being in this wave of this is how you do things. But this is where you take advantage of the guys that can still play football that haven't gotten a job yet, and protect your 27 comp pick. So they're in a really good position. But I would expect that over these next, you could even start to see things in the next day or so. But I certainly think over the next couple of weeks, you'll see the Jaguars sign a few veterans that can come in and play some of these roles as well. But I'm with you. I think pretty much of the 10 guys they signed, I'll say 9 make the 53-man roster.
Frank Frangie along with Hayes Carline. Hayes making his way here after a very difficult traffic day for him. We're live at Southampton as we wrap up the 19th annual Guggen Golf Tournament. We'll be back in a moment on a Best Bet Monday on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show. From the Harrell and Harrell studio, don't settle for less than you deserve.
From the first play ball to the final, your home for play-by-play is 1010XL.
Hi, folks. Frank Frangie with big news. Nimnick Chevrolet's done it again. They're named the Chevrolet Dealer of the Year for 2025. You ready for this? That's 9 times, and still the only dealership in Northeast Florida to ever win the award. Why? Well, because at Nimnick, it's all about treating you right every time. Experience the difference at NimnickChevy.com. I can tell you this. I've been buying cars from Nimnick since 1982. Started at that Chevrolet store, and I learned how to buy cars, and I've been doing it ever since. So if you want a terrific place to buy cars or trucks, at the Nimnick. In fact, it's Truck Month at Nimnick, and it's bigger and better than ever. Nimnick Chevrolet is offering supplier pricing for everyone on new Chevy Silverados. So it doesn't matter the product. It can be a car, it can be a truck, an SUV, it can be new or used. Nobody does a better job than Nimnick for 3 generations. Nimnick has been the place customers keep coming back to. They keep treating you right. They give back to the community. I'm telling you, if you need a car, truck, SUV, new or used, you want to head to Nimnick. Who does a better job? Nobody but Nimnick. Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
Tom McManus here for Armstrong Fence Company, a locally owned and operated business on the First Coast for nearly 20 years. Known for reliability, quality craftsmanship, and professional service, Armstrong Fence handles it all, from big projects like stadiums and schools to your very own backyard. They build a wicked strong fence, and they do it right the first time. When you need a fence in Jacksonville, trust Armstrong Fence Company. Yeah, we did the fence.
Rotator cuff injuries are common among athletes and those who have physically demanding careers. Don't let this injury keep you away from the sport you love. Dr. George Barry here, and the first thing you need to do with a serious shoulder injury is to diagnose where the damage is and how significant it is. Rotator cuff tears are either acute tears sustained during an injury or accident, or degenerative tears. If you're interested in learning more about rotator cuff repair and how our expert team of orthopedic surgeons can help you, call Barry Orthopedics today or visit barryorthopedics.com.
Overheard at the Hard Rock Bet Party.
Meta World Peace, what's up, man?
Nah, that's not my name anymore, thanks to Hard Rock Bet.
We're doing this again, are we?
Now I go by meta, over rebounds, under assists, method of first basket, free throw, piece.
Huh, so you really can same-game parlay practically anything now on Hard Rock Bet.
It's the only place I play these days.
Download the Hard Rock Bet app and start playing today. Hard Rock Bet. Roll with us.
Offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. Concerned about your gambling? Call or text 1-833-PLAY-WISE.
Here's hoping for a Raise the Roof football season. And here's knowing Next Gen Roofing is up for any job. Game day or storm season, you need a team you can trust. And you know what? You don't need a glitzy roofing company. No shortcuts, no gimmicks, no nonsense. Solid roofs at competitive prices and a commitment to the First Coast community. Right now, save up to $300 on your next roof replacement. When you need a roof, you need Next Gen Roofing. Team with you, it's a win every time.
Beat the spring cleaning rush and call Zero Res. Hicken here. This is the perfect time to clean those air ducts as you deal with allergy season, furnace and AC efficiency, post-winter, and more. Your air ducts are like the lungs of your home. If they're dirty, your indoor air suffers. Just check out the more than 8,000 Google reviews with a 4.9 rating. This month, take 20% off your whole home air duct cleaning. Pay less for more fresh. Call 287-5727 or go online at ZeroResJacksonville.com and ask for the 1010XL special.
Breaking news for your home. Wayday is here. It's Wayfair's big sale, where you can score the best deals in home, like up to 80% off with free shipping on everything. Plus surprise flash deals all Wayday long. You won't find better deals for your home anywhere else. We're talking furniture, decor, rugs, and more, all at Wayfair, and all up to 80% off during Wayday. So don't wait. Shop Wayfair's Wayday now through April 27th to score the best deals in home.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch. Now, the Monahan's golden moment. Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach, your local family jewelers.
Hey, we've enjoyed talking a great deal about the NFL draft. We did it all for weeks beforehand, and certainly Hayes did his normal terrific job wrapping it up as he covered it the whole time. But the golden moment today, I'm going to go with one more time this golf tournament today. The 19th annual Guggen Open. We are proud to have been able to do. We sure appreciate our friends out here at Southampton. They did a wonderful job as our host today. And so many of the people that were in this golf tournament today, our sponsors, our clients, people that love 1010XL, our listeners. And there is no 1010XL. 19 years in is our 19th event. There is no 1010XL without these terrific partners. And they were all here to play golf today, and everybody had a great time. And it was a little bit overcast, but no rain, and it kept it from getting hot. So the golden moment today was reliving a fantastic Guggen Open. Our friend Jack O'Brien, part of our sales staff, who works so hard to put this thing on and takes ownership of it, does this normal fantastic job. So just a wonderful day today at the Guggen Open, and a tip of the cap to Jack and mostly to all our partners who came and made this possible, as well as our friends here at Southampton. That was the golden moment. Hey, you weren't able to get here because the traffic was a wonderful Guggen.
Oh yeah, it seems it was gorgeous facility.
Great facility, and the people were just, it's cool. We have such good partners, clients and sponsors and listeners, and seeing them all together in a good mood, having fun, playing golf. It was really, so it was good. Today was really good. You made it here. We appreciate that. I'm sorry you had to go through that.
I'm sorry.
We've all been there, bro. I mean, honest to God, joking aside, we've all been. Are you kidding? We've all been in that. Are you kidding me? Traffic. I don't care. I don't care if you're going to class and you're a student. I don't care if you're going to work. I don't care if you've got an appointment. If you're going to a ball game. If you're going to a party. We've all been at. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I left early enough. I planned for this. This isn't my fault. How in the world did this happen?
And praying for those involved, because it looked like it must have been
you said
really, really nasty.
Yes,
so hopefully everybody's okay.
But we appreciate you stopping by. We've got one segment to go with you before we have to say hello to our friend Rick Ballou. But big picture, you talked all about the draft. Again, I know I'm a homer. I admit it. I've always admitted it. And I don't know how good these players are going to be, but I like what I think they did. And you surmised it way better than I did. You hit it right on the head. Older guys, veteran guys, plug the gap guys. I don't know that there's no stars in this group, but I hear you. There's nobody that you look at and say, wow, he's going to 5 Pro Bowls. That's the point you're making. That doesn't mean somebody won't. And I kind of went off a little bit on the draft analyst stuff. when we started the program. And listen, someone said, well, you don't like, no, I truly respect Dane Brugger, who's really good, and Kuiper for as long as he's done it, and McShay and all of them. They've made a great career, and they've earned that. They work hard. They've earned their career, and they've earned people respect. I mean that very sincerely. They do what we do. We've worked hard to build a career talking sports on the radio, so I respect them the way we hope people do us. But I get a little frustrated when people say, well, because this many people didn't show up on a consensus list, it was a bad draft. I just don't buy it. These guys won 13 games last year. They won 13 games, and they've earned the benefit of the doubt until they flop in some things. I guess that was kind of my take at the top of the program.
That's the thing. And I think the other thing in terms of grades and analysts, there's a game within the draft. And the game within the draft that particularly analysts are going to really focus on are, selecting guys, where they think they should go. And if there's a guy that they feel like is a big reach, it's like, well, why didn't you wait and take that guy at 81 or 88? He probably would have been there. Well, these clubs don't operate like that. They're like, to see Liam Cohen acting as he was after the selection of Borkircher, you would have thought that they just solved all their offensive problems. Right. So
that's cool.
It was, again, you've seen Liam.
Yes.
He's not overly like stoic. He's, if he's upset, it's pretty clear that he's upset. If he's irritated about something, he doesn't mask that. His irritation shows. And it's the converse. When he's happy, you see that. He was walking on air. We got done with the press conference, and he's, bebopping and scatting all around with us, and you can tell how excited he is, and he's cracking jokes. Yeah. And I think he viewed it as, we got exactly I wouldn't be the least bit surprised if Liam Cohen went to James Gladstone 10 days ago and said, this is the guy.
Yeah.
This is the guy that we've got to get at 56.
Yeah.
Forget, to your point, forget the on paper part of the draft, the analysts and boards and things like that. I think Liam Cohen saw something in him he feels like will very much translate to what they're looking to do. I don't think he's going to supplant Brenton Strange. I think Brenton Strange is the Jaguars' primary tight end moving forward for many years to come.
But these two are probably the next two.
Exactly. And they have totally different skill sets. So, certainly the vibe from the Jaguars was one of, we got, all the guys that we wanted. So again, we'll see. No one knows. We're 2-3 years down the road. We'll see if they had a good draft or if they didn't have a good draft.
We'll take a break. We'll be back to say hello to Rick Ballou and wrap the program after this.
The Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Streaming live from the XL Digital Studios. Polished by Harbor Dental Care, the locally owned smile restoration experts.
This is Brent Musburger's Visa in Action update on 1010XL. Brought to you by Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning. When you're stuck, call the Duck. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
The NFL wrapped up its 7-round draft over the weekend with Indiana quarterback Fernando Mendoza going #1 overall. The Los Angeles Rams are the betting favorite to win Super Bowl 61. They are plus 700. The Seattle Seahawks, the defending Super Bowl champions, are plus 950. The Buffalo Bills are the best bet out of the AFC. Buffalo at plus 1,000. The Baltimore Ravens are plus 1,100. The Los Angeles Chargers plus 1,500. And the defending AFC champion New England Patriots are plus 1,600 to win Super Bowl 61.
Progressive helping veterans drive their lives forward. More info, keysofprogress.com.
I'm Tony Desiri with your Visa in Action update on 1010XL.
Dinner tonight? Make it easy and make it something everyone will love. With the Flame Broiler Family Meal Plan, you can feed 4 fast with fresh, flavorful options. You get 20 ounces of your choice of protein. Mix and match your favorites, plus steamed rice and a fresh veggie medley. It's a complete no-stress meal the whole family can agree on, starting at just $34.99. Skip the cooking tonight. Bring the family together and stop by any of Flame Broiler's 5 locations today.
Hey, Hickett here, and oh man, TopDressing.com came and hit my lawn with that deep aeration and overseeding. I got to see their truck. Ooh, is that cool? It's like a transformer. Aerators rolling right off it. They punched the yard. They dropped their proprietary mix and cleaned up like they were never there. Next step, rich, green St. Augustine grass. If your lawn needs a real turnaround, call TopDressing.com today for your free estimate. They'll make your grass look like a golf course for real. Call today and top dress your lawn like the pros with TopDressing.com.
Frank Frangie here. These days, it's hard to know which companies to trust. But when it comes to banking, I trust South State Bank. South State truly values its customers, and they work hard to create meaningful, lasting relationships. I love going into my local branch. I see the same smiling faces I've seen for years. South State is the largest bank headquartered in Florida, so they're able to offer all the banking services you need. You can trust South State Bank. Banking forward. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Attention men and women. If you would like to get your hair back, then you need to listen to some of our clients. John in Orange Park.
IHRS showed me what was causing my hair loss and helped stop it.
Call IHRS now at 904-777-IHRS. Find out how to grow your hair back with a free hair and scalp examination. Diane from Ponte Vedra.
Now I have what lotions couldn't give me. Thick, beautiful hair.
Hurry and receive a free hair and scalp examination and get 2 weeks of laser treatments for free. Call IHRS at 904-777-4477. Hairforme.com.
1010XL Draft Profiles are built by Premier Outdoor Inc., a visionary of hardscapes and aquatics.
Jacksonville made 10 selections in this year's draft. Their first choice came in round 2 at number 56. Tight end Nate Borkature of Texas A&M. At age 24, he's the oldest player picked to wear teal. Their second selection was also an Aggie. Defensive tackle Albert Regis, taken in round 3. In all, Duval got 2 tight ends, 2 receivers, and 2 defensive ends.
Hacker here. How many of you remember hearing about 40 by the 4th last year? Thought about making the call to Awaken 180 and then didn't? Then Independence Day rolled around, you hadn't lost a pound, kicking yourself for not pulling the trigger when you heard the ad. I've been there on plenty of other stuff in life, so no judgment. But here's the difference this year. Awaken 180 just launched Reclaim, a 10-week plan with a real start, a real finish line, and one clear goal. 40 pounds by the 4th. Not eventually, 10 weeks mapped out, and then free support for life. You all know my results with Awaken 180. You can have the same. Celebrate Independence Day 40 pounds lighter, cold beer, and a burger in hand, thanking yourself that you made the call to Awaken 180. And you won't be the only one. Hayes has a buddy jumping on board, and our sales guy Greg just told me he is making this his year. Call 844-346-1800 or online at awaken180weightloss.com.
I'm Frank Frangie, and I can tell you as Walk-Off Charities has grown, we now manage a large athletic facility with numerous fields, including the Bregan Baseball Complex. To get around, we needed a good, reliable golf cart. I went straight to Dynamic Drives and Design in Jack's Peak. I met with Travis, told him exactly what our needs were. Would you believe before you knew it, the perfect cart was delivered to us at an incredible price? If you need a golf cart, Travis and his team are the go-to. Learn more about them at dynamicdrivesdesign.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah. Now, the 2-minute drill is driven by nobody but Nimnicht. Nimnicht Chevrolet on Cassett Avenue and Nimnicht Buick GMC on Phillips Highway.
All right, let's say hello to our pal Rick Ballou, who joins us now. Rick, what'd you think of the draft, brother?
Well, I got 2 hours worth of my thoughts, but, I thought they did some good things. They also did some things that absolutely, totally surprised me. So I have spent the majority of the day really breaking down these new players. I actually started with it on Saturday night and even yesterday as well. So, everyone's an armchair quarterback. Everyone has an opinion, and I love it. But, the bottom line is the NFL draft, we don't know. We don't know about last year's class because they were injured. More surprises for me, though, than automatic position locks, if you will. They went in a totally different direction. So, yes, I was surprised, and we're going to get into that over the next couple of hours. Also, we'll be joined by Damian Parson, does an outstanding job covering the NFL draft as a draft analyst. He does that for Locked On. He'll be coming up as well.
All right. Well, I'm going to be listening because Rick Ballou is going to have great takes on the draft, and I can't wait to have you delve into it. Rick, thanks, buddy.
All right. See you guys.
Buddy. Rick Ballou goes into the night, and that comes up right now. Again, Hayes, thanks for grinding your way here. I'm sorry you got caught in that. And the most important part of what you said was hopefully prayers for everybody that might have been affected or involved in an accident to this third truck. But tomorrow we'll be back in studio. No, are we back in studio? We're back in studio. We're back in studio. The end of the week. I'm all confused. The end of the week, we're live at UNF for baseball.
That's right.
But tomorrow we're back in studio, and we'll be talking about the draft and a whole lot more. Folks, thanks for being part of it. I do want to say one more time, thank you to the folks at Southampton, to our friend Jack O'Brien who put this together, but mostly to our partners, our clients, our sponsors who have made 1010XL so special for these 19 years. Hope you had a good time today at the Google. We certainly did. That'll do it for our program. Rick Ballou's next. This is 1010XL and 92.5 FM.